the smaller guys in there like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels and getting the technical guys in there because then we got to see some really good wrestling, you know. And then we all know what came after that when Stone Cold came and the Attitude Era. Some very good
Man,
times.
This has to be Scott Hall of his career. The moment where he wins this and he's sitting up holding those belts in the air and just posing to the camera looking like a badass. This has to be like one of the top moments of Scott Hall's wrestling career.
Happened in the 90s.
Inside access, though, at the HQ, Ron, I mean, I don't think they would allow me to. If I got that, they'd immediately kick me out because I'd just be sitting there drooling probably, or just over hyperventilating or something.
was this a buddy of yours that you went to school with that you known for a minute?
No, it's my cousin's brother-in-law, kind of like extended family, you know. But he's been working with WWE for like over 10 years now, and anytime I meet up with him, that's all we talk about, you know. I just say I gotta ask him all the questions, all the gossip, and all that because it's insider information that he gives me, you know. So
That's
it's
the
fun,
kind
man.
of family you want. That's the kind of in-law you want, you know.
Right.
Bro. That would have been me in that building, just marking out, bro.
He brought us to the ring and everything, man. I got to jump in the ring, run the ropes a little bit.
No.
Oh yeah,
That's
man.
dope.
Okay.
Dude, how far are you from the HQ?
So I think I'm about maybe like an hour and a half tops from Stanford. I mean, yeah, so it's in Stanford from where I'm at now. Yeah, about an hour and a half.
Where do you stand on the whole Vince thing?
Dude, he's up there with Diddy. I mean, he's on the dude. They're just bad. I think there's just some evil in the world, and I think that he's one of them. You know, as far as what he's done with wrestling, man. I mean, like, dude, I appreciate everything he's done, man. Like, we're wrestling fanatics, so the dude was a genius in that aspect. But as a person, a human being, he's no good, man.
Yeah, I always say to Matt, man, he's like my Stan Lee because I didn't grow up like looking at comic books. That just wasn't my thing, man. But I would always get the WWF magazines, man, especially when they were so cheap.
WWF magazines were exciting, man. When you go to that mailbox and you saw the magazine in there, remember that feeling? Oh, that was good stuff, man.
Plus the posters you would get out of the magazine. I mean, I have them. I'm going to mount Rick Rude posters that I still have from those days. But yeah, what a great publication. But you got to separate the art from the artist, in my opinion, on that.
Yeah.
When I watch this
Absolutely.
and I see Vince like announcing or just like, being the face in these early WrestleManias and stuff, and just like sort of the nice guy Vince McMahon that we grew up with as little kids, I'm still like, damn, that guy's cool.
Right, man.
I can't help.
So wrestling with Ronzilla, when did you start your podcast?
So I don't have a podcast. I'm actually, I just do basically TikTok. I do Instagram. I have a YouTube set up, but I haven't really ventured out too much now. Yeah. So there is really no podcast right now.
What would you call it?
My TikTok channel?
It's just okay.
It's just a TikTok channel. Yeah, man. I just put out all sorts of wrestling related content, man. That's all I really do.
And it's dope, bro. Matt, like you got to check this out, man. Like his stuff.
Yeah, I'll check some links out. And I was trying to get an audio drop so I could do the Ronzilla.
Welcome everyone to the Wrestling with Ronzilla channel. I'm Ronzilla.
Check it out. My question is, you got all the gear. I'm seeing it behind you. The set that you've set up, is that just like something that you've got? Like, how long is that? A lifetime of collection? Like, how did you get that set up first and foremost?
Yeah, so unfortunately, and I can give you guys a tour at some point if you'd like. Unfortunately, no, this is probably since COVID. So for 5 years or so, I've been setting up the majority of this stuff. As a kid, I had a huge collection, but moving town to town over the years and losing it over the years, I kind of had to restart my collection again. So a lot of the stuff I have, I'm trying to buy, that I had as a youngin. I'm not really at the Hasbro's yet, because those are the ones I grew up with, those figures. But
Yeah,
I do grow. I pick up a lot of the modern stuff, but some of the older stuff too.
The modern stuff I have a nephew that we buy the new wrestling like stuff for, and it's fantastic. If I could have had that as a little kid, I would. But then again, those Hasbro figures, we all love. They had an ad in the WrestleMania that we are going to talk about, and I was just like seeing that Hasbro booth at whatever WrestleMania Fest or whatever it was. I was like, damn, I would just be sitting there like breathing heavy on the glass trying to see all those things.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
2020, like that's when you started this?
So that's 2020 is kind of when I started collecting. Yeah. So I did. It was weird. So I've been. I sold stuff on eBay for like over 10 years, and I used to sell like wrestling merch and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there was times when I remember I'd be finding figures and I'd be reselling them, whatever. And I'd be like, oh man, these are cool. I kind of want to keep them. But I was still in my 20s, still kind of finding out who I was. You know what I mean? I was raising kids, so collecting toys wasn't really on my, you know what I mean, on my priority list. But
Yeah.
then, yeah, man, COVID hit and stuff, and I'm a martial artist and a marathon runner, all this stuff. Long story short, I got injured, so I wasn't able to exercise as much. So I had to find a new hobby. So I started doing art, and then, like I said, one day I had these figures. I was like, this is cool. If I would just hang on to a few of these, and I just picked up one or two, and then three or four, and then five or six, and that was just insane, man.
Man,
It's out of control.
The background, I mean, is fantastic. I try to showcase, like, I'm lucky enough that my parents are like pack rats. So you see a bunch of stuff behind me that's like my stuff from my childhood. And I dream of having a setup like what I'm seeing behind you there. I love
Yeah,
that. It's
I
fantastic.
appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's quite the setup. I do come down here often and just look around.
It's awesome.
when do you say you started your fandom of wrestling?
So that's a funny thing, man. I was in diapers, man. I had my mom's friend had introduced me to wrestling at a very, very young age. He used to just prop me up next to him. Obviously, I don't remember it when I was in diapers, but I heard the stories. He would take me and prop me up next to him, and we would watch wrestling. And George the Animal Steel, all those kind of guys were out there at that time. And my last name is Steele, and so he nicknamed me Ron Dog the Animal Steel. So
Ah,
before I was 2 years old, I was Ron Dog the Animal Steel.
Ron
And
Dog.
I never grew out of it, dude. I never grew out of it, guys. I just kept watching it, kept watching it. There was times, my later teen years where I finally, felt that girls were more important than wrestling, and so I ventured out a little bit and didn't watch too much wrestling. But yeah, I always fall back to it, man. Here I am, 40 years old in a room full of toys talking about wrestling.
It's good
It's
memories, man. And like I kind of dropped out in the era that we're going to discuss later, man. Like this was kind of a downtime for WWF that early to mid 90s. I think they were calling it the new generation era with
yeah,
they wanted to put focus on the smaller guys, the HBKs, the Razors, the Bretts.
yeah, absolutely. And it was, I remember watching it, and it was rough to watch, and it was, because they still had the cartoonish stuff. They had the
Yeah.
cartoonish wrestlers with the silly gimmicks and all that, and even as young kids, thinking it's lame. But they had it right, getting the smaller guys in there, like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, and getting the technical guys in there, because then we got to see some really good wrestling. And then we all know what came after that when Stone Cold came and the Attitude Era. Some very good
Man,
times.
Got me back. That's when I came back to wrestling. I gave it up for a while, but once it got to like the NWO Stone Cold WWE era, I was completely into it.
where was your loyalty when it came down to Monday nights, man? Did you stay with Raw or was it split between Raw and Nitro?
So like most, I did switch back and forth. There was a time period where I was switching back and forth, but I almost always leaned towards WWE, WWF. I just always, because that's what I always watched growing up. I did watch WCW as well, but that was always just kind of backup. So
Yeah.
during the Monday Night Wars, I focused more towards WWE. But let me tell you, man, I followed both for sure. I definitely did my channel flipping back and forth.
And like watching your channel, I could tell you are a diehard because like your channel it's separated from the rest because it's not just talking about facts or figures. You go fantasy, you go next level with it sometimes, and you're like, what if this wrestler tag team with this wrestler, and then you'll come up with a name. I'm like, God, dog, like I like that. I
I
like
appreciate that, man.
you different.
I appreciate that, man, because I try to put out unique content, man. I look out there and all the, I don't want to put out the same old stuff out there, and I have this creative energy that I need to exert. As I spoke about earlier, I work in a manufacturing company. I don't know if you guys have ever been in that field, but there's no room for creativity, man. I'm like a robot. I'm a robot. So for someone like me, I come home and I'm just like, I gotta create. So I do music, I do art, I do all sorts of stuff. But as far as the wrestling, man, I got to get that stuff out, man. I always get these crazy, silly ideas, and I like sharing them. A lot of them are silly. If they make me laugh, I'll put them up on there. Sometimes they're real stupid, but it's hit or miss. But I'm glad you guys you checked it out and stuff. But yeah, unique is what I shoot for, man. I try to put out some different content out there.
Hell yeah.
You have to in this, man, because like I follow quite a few like different wrestling podcasts and channels, and they're decent, but like you're one of the people I actually reach out to from time to time. Like I'll get in the DMs and be like, hey bro, just keep doing what you're doing, man, because it's greatly appreciated. Even if you already know that, man, it doesn't hurt to hear that from somebody else, man. So like props to you,
Right?
my guy.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Because yeah, I'm not making any money or anything. I'm having a lot of time, a lot of fun doing this content. But yeah, it takes time, as you guys know. It takes time and effort, and sacrifice and compromises to make content and stuff. So I appreciate it, man.
Hell yeah, dude.
I think
Um,
it'll come.
yeah, you just got to stay at it. Consistency is key, and I checked out your like the page. I actually downloaded TikTok specifically to watch you, so I'm paying homage in that way because I haven't been on that, but yeah, man, you're putting a lot out there, and I like Steve said, I like that you're putting some creativity to the wrestling stuff too. It's not just like a guy who has like an older wrestler and they're talking about the old days or anything. Like I love the editing. I love the style. I love all like the little audio stuff that you're throwing in. So yeah, like Steve's right. If you just keep doing it, I can't say exactly what'll come, but people are gonna start seeing that more and more, dude. You're killing it.
Thanks, man. That's how I shoot. That's what I'm shooting for, man. I'm just gonna keep going, keep going, keep going. Whatever happens, happens, man. In the meantime, I'm still having a great time.
Oh yeah. Now I have to ask Steve. I just want to step in because we've discussed this, but I want to know Ronzilla's opinion on this. Ron, who is I'm putting you on the spot. Who is your single favorite wrestler?
Okay, so this is it's kind of a controversial figure during these times, but it's Hulk Hogan, man, and it's Hulk Hogan, and you had spoke about this before, separating the character from the human being, and I
Yeah,
have absolutely done that with the Hulkster, man, because the human being,
I
dude,
got
you
I've
have to.
never
Yeah.
even met him before, and I don't even if I'm I really it's not even on my bucket list to meet him. But as far as
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan, dude, and Hulkamania and what he did for me as a kid, I grew up in a single family household, just my mom, so I didn't have like a father figure to look up to. So Hulk Hogan
Yeah.
was that for me, you know what I mean? So I had such a connection to him for many years. Even when he turned bad in the late '90s, that's when I was in like my teenage angst years, like yeah, bad guy
Exactly.
Hulk Hogan. So even
Oh
then,
yeah,
you
I
know
want
what I'm saying?
that.
Yeah,
He did that at the perfect time, man. And don't feel bad.
absolutely.
Like I'm the same way, bro. As a black guy, he's still my goat, and I've defended the man for years, ever since that tape leaked. It's like, man, you know what? That's Terry Bollea, but Hulk Hogan,
Yeah,
like that's the guy, man. Like that's the person that brought me to the yard.
Right.
I'm an '80s baby, so I followed him for years, and just like you said, he turned rogue right at the time when I'm a teenager, when it was cool to do bad things. Sometimes it's like,
Right,
God,
right, man.
so
Right. Yeah. So you have those good memories, those connections. It's hard to just be like, all right, I'm wiping my hands with Hulk Hogan. But it
it's
is what it is.
makes it
He's
tough for sure.
yeah.
There's a lot of bad press out there, but I'm more. I'm. I've told Steve I've veered from Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, and I'm fully cemented as I think Shawn Michaels is the best wrestler of all time. And I don't. I think there's people that argue that, but I feel like there's a lot of evidence that suggests that.
Oh yeah.
Especially this
HBK,
match
man.
we're going to talk about. I mean,
What's that?
so many, but the match that we're going to talk about today that he had in the WrestleMania, I mean, he killed it.
Oh yeah.
He almost got his
Yeah.
ass whooped by Burt Reynolds, to be honest. But
Michaels had Shawn Michaels had probably the most classics when with more different individuals than anyone else. You know what I mean? I mean, he put on some good matches with so many different wrestlers.
Mr. WrestleMania.
hell
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
This is Steve G and Mad G with Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about what happened in the 90s. So get out your Crystal Pepsis and your Razor Ramon posters because the Humpty Dance is your chance to do the hump. Oh, do me, baby. Do the Humpty Hump. Come on and do the Humpty Hump.
I'm doing home to home. Nice.
Well, today, my friends, we're talking all things March 20th in the 90s. Starting off in 1990, Belle Biv DeVoe released their debut album, Poison. Poison. Poison.
I mean, this has lasted so long. I don't even think that they knew it was going to last this long. TV shows keep bringing it back. Movies keep bringing it back. It's a hot song, Steve.
The whole album is pretty hot, man. I mean, not just Poison, but they had Do Me. They had When Will I See You Smile Again? Like, I think when this album came out, man, to me it represented welcome to the 90s. It came out in 1990. It had a new flavor that separated this sound from the 80s sounds of R&B. And it was like a hip hop infused R&B group. Like if you watch the videos.
Who is your favorite? Is it Belle Biv or DeVoe, Steve?
Biv because he produced Boys to Men.
Michael Bivins?
Michael Bivins, man.
Okay.
Any memories?
Who's the guy that's like, it's driving me out of my mind? Who's that guy? Is that Robbie DeVoe?
I think that's Ricky Bell.
That's the guy. That's who I'm into.
Any memories of Belle Biv DeVoe, Ronster?
So I didn't join in because I know the song, but I didn't know who it was. So it's 3 different dudes that did that song.
Yeah, it's 3 guys who were in New Edition back in the day when everybody kind of split off. Bobby Brown went solo and Johnny Gill went solo. 3 of those members, Michael Bivins, Ricky Bell, and Ronnie DeVoe, they formed Belle Biv DeVoe. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, man, that's a good song, man. That was a good song. I mean, that's all I know of them, but I think that was that it. Was that their big hit that they had?
Out of all of their tracks, that's probably their biggest one, man.
Right,
and
right.
I mean, that's a platinum hit right there.
Jam.
You know? That's a huge one. Do Me you mentioned, and I love the title, but I don't remember that one.
Do me in the morning, you can do me in the night, you can do me. It's got a cook. Yeah,
I like it.
I'll smoke a bag of that.
Exactly. I don't know if I've heard that song, but I will hear that song as soon as we're off the show.
Also in 1990, Digital Underground would release Sex Packets, and the world would never be the same again.
I mean, where do you think this stacks up, Steve?
The Humpty Hump Dance or Sex Packets?
I mean, the Humpty Hump Dance. Let's be honest.
The Humpty Hump Dance, man. I would say for top 20 hip hop songs for me. Yeah, I like it that much. And there's a lot of hip hop songs to pick from, but just like with Poison, I feel like the Humpty Hump Dance was another introduction to the 90s. Because if you look at the video, it's the colorful backgrounds, the graffiti tagging, and like Shock G. He's just this character. Like as a kid, I couldn't differentiate it, like what's going on here. Is it Shock G? Is he Humpty Hump? He's both.
I mean, was he what did he just get off stage and he was like, man, that was crazy? Or was because I always thought it was like the art became the artist type sort of situation, like Andrew Dice Clay, you know?
Well, I want to say he's Shock G for other songs, and then for this song he becomes Humpty Hum. Unfortunately, I never got to see him perform. We also can't overlook the fact that Tupac, probably the biggest member in the whole group, was a backup dancer.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. But I feel like, yeah, I mean, Shock G is just as a personality, he's definitely one of the weirdest and most memorable in hip hop, just especially from that era, I feel like. Because I remember seeing him on just in the videos. It's just is this a comedy thing or what the fuck is it? Was just crazy.
it was a time when hip hop was fun, man. You know, of course, you had Kid and Play, who we talked about recently, and then you have Digital Underground, when it was all about dancing. It wasn't looked at as being lame to dance in hip hop back when people would have house parties and would dance to the music.
That's right. That was like in Living Color era, right? That was the
The,
'90s.
in
That
lip,
was a party time, early
Yeah.
'90s, man. That was some
exactly,
good
man.
stuff, man. And you guys spoke about Tupac, and I believe that Tupac first made his rap debut. I think Shock G put him on one of the albums. I think
Yes,
early
sir.
on, because Tupac kept begging him or something. But I don't think they got along too well. But I think they in the end they respected each other. But I think they fought a lot or whatever. But he did put him on one of the albums. But yeah, that's some good stuff, man.
All around the world, same song. That's when he made his debut. But I think once he joined Death Row, his friends became his old friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, things change, man, in different surroundings. But
Different vibe too. I don't think he wanted to I felt like that's Death Row wasn't exactly the same kind of digital underground vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
A little different vibe.
You guys want to dance?
In 1992, Basic Instinct premiered, and first thing I think of is that iconic scene.
That's all we all think of, Steve.
Oh yeah.
Michael Douglas was sweating in the scene. We all were. The cops all were about to bust when they were just, that is one of the most hilarious and hot scenes of all time. But as a kid, I mean, this was what you wanted to see. You guys know what
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm talking about.
if you had it on VHS, I'm sure you played it back just to catch, like, man, for a millisecond. She showed it for a second.
Yo,
It was, man, you
I
blink
saw,
and
Press
you miss.
pause.
I
Press
saw you
pause real
doing
quick.
that. Yeah, exactly. And that was a VCR time too, so that was an inexact science. We were like, "Yo, 5 seconds, right now, right? You fucked it up, dude. What the hell?"
Man, go back.
All I'm seeing his kneecap. This is a weird move. This is like that the '90s especially. And I'm like, when I look this movie up, it's all over like the descriptions, erotic thrillers. I don't think they're making a lot of these anymore. But this is probably, other than the other one that we're going to talk about today, one of my favorite of this era, of this, whatever this is. you know?
Man, Sharon Stone. Oh my god.
I mean, she's a killer. She doesn't she like stab a guy with an ice pick while they're fucking in the beginning of it or something. There's something in the beginning that's crazy too. But most of my memories of this were getting like the HBO free weekends,
Yeah.
which that was a hit or miss thing for a little pervy kid. But when you saw Basic Instinct was on, I was like, oh yeah, 30, mom and dad will be asleep. Yes,
Man.
hell
Thank you.
yeah.
But,
She made
but
us all men, Steve.
in 1994, WWF is airing WrestleMania 10 live from Madison Square Garden.
Hell, it still has the cheesy opening music though. That meow 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 meow.
Uh,
Sounds like mom.
That music was cheesy and stuff, but man, it made everything feel so epic, man. As a kid hearing that music, all those trumpets and stuff, everything felt like a big deal.
Oh, when you put the tape in and this started playing, you'd get fired up. You're like, oh, Rumble, dude.
Oh yeah.
Hearing that music and then Vince
Yeah.
McMahon's voice promote, like, just starting it up, like, dude, let's get this started. Where's the popcorn?
Where's the
Like,
pizza
like,
Yeah, his level of excitement was real high, man.
oh my bro. And all the focus goes on to his like ownership of the company, but dude, if we're talking about announcing or commentating, he's one of the best too at that.
Yeah. Dude, he made it exciting. He made the lamest matches exciting. He wasn't the best at calling like maneuvers. He'd call everything a maneuver. He wouldn't know like all the technical aspects of things, but he definitely made every match exciting, for the
But
kids.
before we kick it off, man, I want to know, like, what was your favorite commentating team?
I discussed this not long ago with someone, and it's hard for me because I've watched it for so many different eras. So I have to lean probably towards Bobby Heenan and
Gor-
Gorilla Monsoon,
Mm,
but there's also that Jr. Jim Ross combo. that I grew up too. You know what I mean? So with those two, I'd have to say Bobby and Gorilla, man. They're just the best. They were the
You
best.
you went you went old school with it, man. With the prime time wrestling years.
Oh man, they were funny, man. So funny. The whole "Will you stop" and all that, dude. Just the
Yeah,
bickering, and they were so quick with everything, both of them, and they fed
both
off
of
each
them.
other so perfectly.
Yeah,
That's what makes it when they have like a good like when JR and the King are going back and forth with each other and stuff, like that little banter that they have. That's what makes a good duo. Like Jesse the Body and Vince, you
I
know,
like them too.
that was a
Yeah,
great duo too. And the thing that always like amazes me about Vince being just an announcer is that that's a huge amount of pressure to put on yourself that you own this, you're producing and like putting all this stuff together, and then you got to go out and be the ultimate salesman of all
right.
in front of everyone, in front of like the watching audience on video or pay-per-view or whatever. It's like, dude, that's like an insane accomplishment because just doing one of those things is great, but he was just like, I'll just do it all. Fuck
Right, right, right. You hear all the stories. I mean, I've heard many, many stories over the years that there's certain people that only need 4 hours of sleep, and apparently Vince is one of them, and he's only
Yeah,
slept 4 hours a night for his whole life or whatever.
That's
the
great.
man. He puts the man in McMahon. And speaking of the devil, man, Vince, he introduces Little Richard. Shut up.
Shut up. Damn it, Steve.
I started rock and roll. But yeah, he sings America the Beautiful. And if you pan at the crowd, man, some of them just have this look, man, get the shit out of here, man. This is New York City, so it's like a lot of those people, man.
I don't know if it was in this specific part, but there is three like old biddy New York City chicks that are just waiting to get picked up, that are just dressed weird but trying to look sexy, but they also look like they're the same age as like Fabulous Moolah.
Oh,
It's really
like
yeah.
it was sexy in like 1945
My
or something.
wife was like, "Who are those women?" I was like, "I don't know, but they're trying to get some." I think that night.
They got
Madison
blue hair and shit.
yeah, dude. But Madison Square Garden, this isn't the first time that they've had a WrestleMania there, right?
No, the first one was at MSG. Yeah. But that's why they wanted to bring it back because this is 10 years in the making. And on the ones and twos, this time we got Vince and Jerry Lawler. And of course, Jerry has to come in. And he's like, I think Little Richard has his dress too tight.
Dude, he's a legend, man. It's hard not to put him as like the best. Him and JR, I feel like that's just so tough.
Dude, they
I'm
were
torn.
funny, man. They made you laugh, man. Those two. JR would put King in his place sometimes, and it would just be so funny, man.
My God.
My God.
Yeah. I'm torn, man. Like, cause the Attitude Era is my favorite era, but I feel you, Ryan, when you say like Gorilla and Bobby, because it's just they were like peanut butter and jelly.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. I mean, to this day, I could just hear it I could hear it right now. Right to the bread basket. Gorilla with his terms that he would say, and then Bobby jumping in and just always cheering for the heels and stuff. Like I love that. When you had the heel guy announcer, and then you got the
Not
face
to.
and the heels
Perfect.
always cheering for the bad guy. That's how it should be, man. It's old school.
Yeah, Gorilla just making up names and shit. And
Yeah.
this right here, man, it's probably the best opening match of a WrestleMania. It quite possibly the best opening match of a pay-per-view. Brett and his little brother Owen, man.
Bad
Very
blood.
good. Very good match. Very good match. I wish we got to see more of them, and I really wish that we got to see them team up more too. Imagine a
Yeah.
run as Brett and Owen as champs. I think that would have been some really really cool stuff. But this was definitely a great match.
Were you pulling for Brett or were you more of an Owen person?
So it's funny. I was 10 years old. So I mean, at that point, I was still cheering for the good guys, But there was
Right.
definitely a part of me that wanted to see Owen win it. I think a lot of us were like that. You know what I mean? I like seeing the underdogs come out sometimes, and I was a fan of Owen too. But like I said, at 10 years old, I always wanted the good guys to win.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think the first like non-good guy that I was really pulling for was Razor Ramon because of his swag. I was just like, man, I know he's supposed to be a bad guy, but this guy's cool.
Yeah.
So
Hell
so
yeah.
So that for me was Mr. Perfect because
Mm.
dude, his music, everything about him, catching his own football, all that stuff. I was like, I love him. I don't care if he's bad or
Dude,
not
I
good.
just watched that clip, and whoever the quarterback he's playing with, his reaction where he's like, "Oh wow, it's so good." Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
actually, you might be right, Ron. Mr. Perfect might be about the first like heel that I met. I mean, he was before Razor Ramon. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
for that.
He had a swag too, man. You know, he kept the Jerry curl dripping, the curl mullet.
I still spit my gum out and slap it every time. I
Oh
still do
yeah.
that to this day. So yeah, that's hilarious though. My personal thing with this is it cemented to me that Owen Hart, as far as like you can compare him, and Bret Hart obviously he is the better wrestler, I guess. But Owen has the best. He's so good at mic work. He has like he's a good actor because when he go out there and like start screaming and stuff and
Mm.
like yelling at the crowd, like "Why not me?" It's just kind of it's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. He was very, very interactive with the fans and everything as a heel. That's why he was so good. He was so good. Remember when he would come out with the Slammies, the two Slammy awards? He just keep yelling, and the woo, woo, woo. He's just obnoxious, man. He made you want to hate him. It's fun.
He is a good heel for sure, and they
That
put this up pretty good too. I felt like just like the bad blood type situation where they even kind of get back together a little bit, but then all it takes is one little thing, and then Owen just goes in and starts kicking his brother in the leg. That was shocking. As a you're like, wait, no, what? There's
I
no.
You know
kicked
what?
your
You
leg
know what
from
he?
your leg.
There it is. I was like, you know what he really did? He kicked his leg out of his leg. Come on now.
Oh my god, that's one of my favorite flubs of all time, man. Besides the Booker T one, but but no, man, this is a classic match, and by a lot of accounts, this was considered the match of the year. But it was kind of overshadowed by a match later in this pay per view. We know how the story goes, man. Brett tried to do a roll up, schoolboy roll up, and Owen reversed it. He gets the pin, and it shocked the world.
He looked shocked. He was sitting
Yeah.
there dumbfounded for a second, but then he got his little. He was laughing at the end. I loved it. Now that you asked it and I'm thinking about it, I loved it because Owen won it. It was great.
Yeah, and I'm a Brett fan. He's probably in my top five, man. Probably on my Mount Rushmore, but it's hard to argue against the fact that Owen was a better mic worker, just as good of a performer. His heel work is unmatched, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
at that time he was definitely better on the mic and with his charisma and stuff than Brett was. Brett struggled definitely a bit with that during that time
That's
period.
that's like his Achilles heel, man. I
Yeah,
think he got sharper when he became a heel himself, but
right,
overall, man, he just all he's known for is just that one line, you know.
right, right.
I just think it's like he was supposed to be like he's the cold-blooded hitman for a while, but it's like at some point it's just like you got to show a little bit of even in the like promos about with like fighting Owen. He's like, I will never fight my brother. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
you on some pills or something, bro? What's going
yeah,
on?
quite wooden. Yeah,
Yeah, I dug it. I dig this rivalry, and I for me like Brett though at the beginning of my wrestling fandom, I feel like he was like one of my top favorites for a long time. But
Yeah.
then it just there was more interest. Then Razor Ramon came around. You know,
Brett was definitely and he was one of my favorites as well. But I had met him when he was during one of his runs as champion. It could have been I'm not sure. It was around this time period, and he was pretty standoffish. I remember as a kid meeting him, and I was so excited to meet him. And out of all the wrestlers, he was one of the most standoffish ones.
oh my,
And
Damn.
maybe he was tired. It could have been anything. And he didn't say anything or do anything mean, but he did not want to be there. He did not care about the 10-year-old kid excited to see him. So I remember after that, I kind of was a little bummed, and I don't think as huge of a fan, uh, you know,
Wow.
but it is what it is. Could have been anything. I met a lot of wrestlers over the years, and it's surprising some of the guys who would be end up being the nicest ones.
that's
Wow.
Tugboat Typhoon. I met that same day. That dude, that is a nice guy, man. One of the nicest wrestlers I ever met.
That's what I hear all the time, man. You got to meet the Shockmaster.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Hell yeah. Do you think
he's a
he'd be
good dude.
cool when you bring up Shockmaster, you think?
Oh, dude, he embraces it nowadays. He's
Huh?
still making money. He's making
Yeah.
money off the Shockmaster gimmick. Oh yeah, he's all for it. I think he signs cards for Shockmaster, Tugboat, and Typhoon, and he sells them on his website. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
love
he embraces it.
Man, shout out to Uncle Fred, man. But I don't understand this though. Why is Cy Sperling here, the president of the hair club? Like they had him out here with, I guess, to do like a little plug, no pun intended, for Howard Finkel. I guess he was wearing like one of his wigs or something.
I
Like
remember that. Yeah.
Howard, you
it.
deserve
Honestly,
better.
that wig game though, they made the Fink look pretty voluptuous in the hair game. Honestly, so
He's the Fink. He don't need that. You the Fink, bro. Like you can go George Jefferson, bro. You the golden voice of wrestling, bro. You better than Buffer, both the Buffers. I said it.
wow.
Yeah.
So looking back at this, I mean, they must be marketing because this was still a period towards wrestling was based towards the kids, WWF. So I guess this was marketing towards the fathers. I guess
Yeah.
what was this? What
Or
were they doing here?
it's that need, or have some male pattern baldness and some kids. I don't know.
I wasn't struggling at 10. I struggled a little later in life, but not at 10.
Yeah,
Same.
if
Same, my guy.
I bend my head down a little bit,
Yeah.
it's bad. But I might need to call Cy if he's still alive because that wig was pretty fucking awesome. But yeah, I thought
think
that
that's
was
good.
weird too. I wonder how much they paid. Like, did Cy pay just to be part of this? It's like, that's product placement all over the place.
I mean, this was a downtime for WWF, so they're just like grabbing any straw they can, I guess, man. Let's get Cy Sperling and one of the new kids on the block on here. Yeah.
Yeah, Donnie, dude. We'll get to that, but all the stars are out. It's Madison Square Garden, Steve.
And also Bam Bam and Luna versus Dink and Doink. Like we could have really done without this, man. Like R.I.P. to Luna and Bam Bam, like because I appreciate both of them over the years. I didn't really care for him as a kid, but Bam Bam was like looking back on it to be that size and be agile, like something to be said about that.
Yeah, high flying fat guy is cool, and he had a
Yeah,
lunatic.
man.
Like Luna had that vibe. It was a memorable character for sure.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, her voice, man, was uncontrollable. Dude, I thought she had real tattoos. She had the veins, the makeup
Yeah,
veins on the side of her head. As a kid, I thought she had tattoos. But yeah, Bam Bam, he was one of those guys I liked watching because he was a big dude, but he was smooth in the ring. But and Doink, I was a huge fan when he was a heel
Yeah.
clown, but when he started doing the silly, goofy, good guy stuff, I wasn't a fan. Yeah, when Dink came around and all that, no, not a
Dink
fan.
is. It was a mistake. Yeah, it was a misstep.
Yeah, little people matches. I think I stopped being into those like after the 80s.
It's bizarre to watch, especially when it's like Luna just like whooping his ass a little bit and she's kicking him. It's like, stop it.
Right. I mean, even up in then fast forward to 2010s when Big Show was throwing Hornswoggle. It just never looks right. It never looks
Yeah,
right.
like
It just sounds like there's like a high pitched scream someplace.
like
Yeah.
there's certain ideas that Vince will try to like square peg into a round hole. Like it worked in '84, so let's do it in 2021.
Gonna still work now.
It's perfect. It's
Like-
poetry.
Who won this match, man? Do you remember?
I think
Doink for the good guy.
Bam Bam won it. Like Bam Bam and Luna won it, but there was some shenanigans after the match with Dink. He was trying to like fuck with Bam Bam, and so there was just a little bit more little person violence that we got at the end. But I do think Bam Bam and Luna won the match. I don't know.
I remember Bam Bam missing a splash. I remember
Yeah.
he missed a splash, and then whatever happened afterwards.
There was a lot of like Dink running around. Like at one point, he just tried to like run around and create a tornado around Bam Bam, like running so fast. That was one of his moves. But Yeah, I think you might be right though. Maybe they doink one because Bam Bam just tried to like headbutt the ground or some shit. I don't know, but
See, that's how irrelevant this match was.
yeah,
The three of us, none of us can put our heads together and figure. Like, I think, let's go to the
I
source
was
here.
just trying to answer my wife's questions about what the fuck are you watching? I was like, it's all you can think. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, Bam Bam, they did win by pin. The guy performing as Doink, man, it wasn't the original guy. It wasn't Matt Bourne, who I think that was when I was actually into Doink, when he would, like
Yeah.
Ron said, when he was a heel. But this guy, I think his name was Ray Apollo, if I'm
Yes,
not mistaken.
yes, you are correct. Yeah, yeah. Matt Bourne was the one that portrayed the heel, and he was the one that really played that character well, man. Yeah, and
Brought
then
it to
he had
life.
some substance abuse issues or whatnot. So when he went out the door, Apollo took over as the face doink, and it wasn't the same. And then eventually, Skinner, Steve Kern or whatever, he took over the
Steve
doink.
Kern.
Yeah, he took over doink for a while. But
Skinner, I forgot about that
oh
gimmick.
yeah, Skinner, the chewing tobacco.
And throughout this pay-per-view, they got a Bill Clinton impersonator. Like, look wise, he kind of nails it. You could tell what he's trying to do.
I was
Um,
spitting my eyes. I was like, Is that Bill?" It
yeah.
looks like him from far away, but yeah. Once I saw IRS behind, I was like, "God damn it, Clinton!"
I think even as a kid, I didn't fall for it.
He's
Oh,
no Phil Hartman,
I
but
love the WWE. I love IRS.
in this next match, man, Macho Man versus Crush with Mr. Fuji in a no holds barred, falls count anywhere, no DQ. Man,
And this is not the bright Hawaiian color crush. This is more of a dark, mystical black and red crush.
Yeah, there was really not much of a gimmick change. He just was a bad guy. He didn't really have much of a gimmick as a heel here. He just had face paint now, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, didn't he have the face paint when he had the purple and orange shit? But
no, he didn't, man. He
oh,
added the face paint and Mr. Fuji, like sprinkling some Mr.
Right.
Fuji. He's a bad guy.
Right. Well, yeah,
yeah,
that's what they did in the 80s. Come on.
Yeah,
Fuji's he's out there. He's like a pimp for wrestlers. He's looking for the right ones to be in his stables, Steve. So he was in Hawaii. He saw Crush. He's like, you
and
know
But
what?
this match wasn't a normal no holds barred match. This was they had some weird rules, right? We had to
yeah,
get back to the ring, and even the commentators didn't understand. As a kid, I didn't understand.
yeah.
You guys recall that?
It didn't make sense, yeah, because like after you pin them, they have to be down for like 60 seconds, and you have to be in the ring. Yeah, it was all
By
over the
60
place.
No,
seconds or something. Yeah, but they kept switching because they didn't know.
no, the refs didn't know. But I think what the actual rule was, you can pin them anywhere. You could be in a garbage can outside and pin them, but you have to then you have 60 seconds to get in the ring, both guys.
Oh,
So like the guy pinning, he just walks back to the ring, but whoever the other guy is who's got his ass whooped and pinned, you got 60 seconds to get back in the ring or it's over with.
oh,
So
okay,
that,
I see.
that ends up coming into play, but they were playing real fast and loose with the counts. And I feel like at the beginning, even the refs were like, I don't know, because Crush comes out and just starts whooping Macho Man's ass. Like, there's no ring, they don't get into the ring and start this. Like,
They get straight to it.
yeah, he just gets to it, and I think he literally like whoops Macho Man's ass and pins him immediately.
Gets a quick pin, yeah. But Macho Man, he gets up, makes it back to the ring, but on his way back, Fuji like cracks him with his Japan flag.
Mr. Fuji, dude. He's got little secret tricks everywhere. He's got a little. It might be that. It might be sand or salt or whatever. I wasn't a Mr. Fuji guy, In terms, I like a Jim Cornette. I'm more of a Jim Cornette, which we'll get to. But I did enjoy. Anytime they go out and they do stuff outside the ring, it's cool. I mean, that's what most of this was. We even get to go in the back, like the official back, and see like the backstage, and they're whipping each other's ass. And just to get to the end, Macho Man, he gets a couple of pins. He starts getting the better of him, and then he just takes Crush back to just a makeshift crane sort of winch
Pulley.
system, some pulley system that was just, I don't know what the hell. Maybe they had to, that's how they get Yokozuna like off a couch or some shit. But Macho Man whoops Crush's ass, gets him on the ground, starts tying his feet together, which I get it, and he's trying to like get him up in the air, but at some point like the winch ain't working or they didn't tell Macho how it
I,
works, so he's just like fuck it.
so I'm looking at it right now, and it's clear right off the bat. Macho has no idea what he's doing. He's got no clue. He looks like a kid who's just like, "I'll try this, I'll try that, and I'll try this." And it's funny, man, watching it back. Yeah, Crush is like he's like this far from falling on the floor, man.
And
His
he,
hands are
Running near
literally
in the
touching
loop,
it.
and then
I like how he gets him up. He's up, like he gets him off, but as he's running away, Macho Man drops it. It just falls back to the ground. He's just fine now. There's no mistakes in this. But and I don't know if you said it like on the show, but you said this is his last shebang in WWF, WWE ever.
unbeknownst to everyone involved, including him, probably, man. But ironically, I like the way they did the camera, like the angling. It looked like it was a send off. Even if that wasn't intentional, man. It's unfortunate that he never came to terms or came to some kind of agreement with Vince to finally come back, because the fans would have loved to see that, man. I would have loved to see that, but yeah, man, this was his last appearance in Vince's business, man.
Now, from what I understand, was it because Macho still wanted to wrestle and Vince just wanted him to commentate?
Yep. He's like, I
Yeah.
still got some go in me. But he's like, no, I want to keep you at the booth, man. I want to put the focus on the younger guys. You had your time. And to a wrestler, I always tell people, like, wrestlers and rappers, man, you can never tell them their time is done. Jay-Z had a retirement album back like 20 years ago. He had like 5 albums since.
That's very true. Yeah, rappers and wrestlers, they never really retire.
I don't
No.
understand that decision making though. Like, hey, Macho, you know what? I just want you talking on the mic with that crazy voice. I mean, I like Macho Man. I think he's great on the mic, but him
He
being
was
commentary for like the whole like pay per view, I don't know. I don't know if
he
he
was
could.
brutal. He was horrible. He would just say random stuff. Macho. He was just like, "What?" He's like, "What are you talking about, dude?"
What'd you say, brother? Like, okay, Macho, over here.
And
Yeah, he
because he's
wasn't that good.
macho, he could get away with it. Like, I looked past it. Like, I didn't think
I
much of
loved
it, but
it.
you're right, man. It was a lot of bullshit.
Put me in, Vince. I can still do it, brother. Like, he's like, no, to WCW with you. But he was great in WCW. So, I mean,
Yeah.
he still did have a lot in the tank. He was still elbow dropping for another 5-6 years, I feel like.
He had something
WCW,
to prove.
he was pretty juiced up when he got there too. He definitely had
Oh,
something to prove.
dude.
Dude,
Yeah.
Macho juiced up. That's the Macho Man I won, honestly. You know?
Ron, do you know what happened to Todd Pettengill? Was it like a amicable split, or was he just like, man, they fucked me over. I'm sick of this. Like, I never
So
knew the story.
I think he was like a New York radio host, correct? Right before the WWE gig, I believe.
I'm not
When
familiar.
I'm pretty sure that he was like a New York radio host or something like that. And when I think it was a mutual split, and he decided to go back to New York radio. I think he's still a host to this day or something. I could be getting it confused.
Yeah.
But I think it was like a split where he just went back to his old gig, but I
Because
could
he
be
he
wrong.
he kind of became like the new, like, Lord Alfred Hayes, Mean Gene Okerlund guy. He kind of took over that role that they had as far as interviewing people in the crowd and behind the scenes. But yeah, man, he's doing some heavy lifting in this, because he's for one, he's interviewing this Clinton impersonator, and he has to play out. He has to do some acting himself, like, and act like this is the real guy. And then we cut to Fan Fest, which I would have been loving. You get the dunk
Imagine
doink,
that.
step into the ring. There's a clown on stilts. You got the action figures. Even Hillbilly Jim can sign your autograph.
Dude, Hillbilly Jim's just sitting there chilling right there. You could talk to him. I didn't know they did this kind of thing. Like, this is like when they have the Super Bowl and the town turns into like Super Bowl Fest for a week, you
Yes,
know?
sir.
Dude.
So there was this store in the '90s, Bob's clothing stores. You guys had those around where you live or no? Bob's?
Oh,
No? Okay.
Bob's.
No.
So long story short, there was a Bob's clothing store, and they would have these these tickets you could fill out to win wrestling shows, to win backstage passes to wrestling shows at the New Haven Coliseum, which is a famous wrestling venue that many events have been to, you know. So I would sit there while my mom shopped and I would fill them all out and stuff. So I won backstage passes for like 2, 3 years in a row. And it was awesome. I got
What?
to sit down and eat dinner with the wrestlers and catering, and it was awesome, man.
Dude, what, like, we got to hear what's one memorable story from that? There's got to be
Uh,
one.
well, I'll go back to talking about Tugboat again, but that same day I met Tatanka. Tatanka was pretty cool. Tatanka was a nice guy. Gold Dust in full get up. He was kayfabing, so he was looking at me like, he. So I don't think that he was really being rude. I think he was just being himself.
Staying
You
in
know,
character.
yeah. But Tugboat was really awesome, man, because I had sat down with him and we were talking and I said, "Hey Tugboat, is wrestling fake? I heard wrestling's fake." And he said, "I don't know, what do you think?" And I said, I don't know, you tell me." And he said, "Next time you watch me body slam." And he started explaining to me. He's like, "I'm gonna body slam the guy, and then when they get real close, I'm gonna put him down." And he's explaining. I'm like, wow. And then, the next question I asked him, I said, "Does Hulk Hogan take steroids?" And he looked at me and he said,
Damn,
"What do
you
you
were
think?"
like a damn fucking NBC correspondent with this.
I was a 10-year-old kid asking all the right questions, man.
We got Jim
And
Gray over here.
CNN, call this guy because he's going to ask the hard questions.
Oh man, he looked at me and he said the same thing. "What do you think?" with a smirk, and it was just funny, man. But that was the most memorable thing. Is Tugboat just opening right up, man. He didn't care, dude. It was funny.
Tugboat's like, this kid is fucking unlocking the secrets. I can't stop.
He didn't seem
Dude,
to have a problem with it.
That's amazing, dude. One,
that's so
salute
dope.
to you for actually asking a question like that. Because if I got in front of any wrestler, I'd be like, "You're the best."
Well, there was that too. So I had a family friend who was friends with Sergeant Slaughter. So I would see Sergeant Slaughter a lot, but I was scared shitless of Slaughter, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't ever take pictures with him. So as a kid, I had all these pictures of Sergeant Slaughter just like in
From a
random places
distance.
in the house. And he'd leave me notes. He'd leave me notes on napkins, "Hey, Ronnie, chin up and chin down. That's an order, Sergeant Slaughter."
Damn, that's amazing, dude. That's crazy. I have nothing to beat that. I saw Juventud Guerrero at a Denny's in Toledo one time. That's it.
You got to talk about the juice. You met the juice?
Who's the Jews?
That's Hooven, dude.
Is that who?
That's Juventud
Okay.
Guerrero. That's
I
the
didn't
juice.
meet him. We saw him because somebody else knew who he was, and I was like, "Oh, that's crazy." I wasn't that excited, but it was cool to see him. And my friend the next night saw Undertaker at that same Denny's. It must have been a really cool poppin' Denny's in Toledo, Steve.
Apparently, man.
You could have been.
And this next match, man, we could have done without this, but we gotta represent the ladies. You got Lilani Kai, a name from the '80s, and Alundra Blaze. Miss dropped the belt in the trash can.
Miss, I mean, big booty on Alundra Blaze, though, Steve.
Oh,
I
slash.
liked her. I liked her as a kid. I'm sure you guys did too.
Yeah.
Oh,
I kind of forgot about Alundra Blaze, but watching this, I was like, drop that belt in the trash can, honey. You're a
man.
So the problem with the women's wrestling back then is it was like stop and go. Vince would stop
Yeah.
and go with it. You know what I mean? He'd bring the women's title back and bring in, and then Alondra Blaze had barely any challengers. They just bring in,
She did.
you know.
Like she was the only one on the roster for the most part, man.
Right.
They bring back a Lilani Kai, and I think she had like a match in like one of the early WrestleMania, like WrestleMania 1 or 2.
Yeah, I think we covered that,
Definitely.
honestly. I think we saw that.
No, that was against the Japanese chick. She just got inducted into the Hall of Fame recently. You're talking about
Crazy hair and shit.
yeah, she's different. I can't call her name, man, but
Oh,
Lilani
Bull
Kai.
Nakano? Bull
Bull
Nakano?
Nakano.
There
Yep.
we go.
Yeah, we covered that SummerSlam match, man. But Lilani Kai, she comes in here with this mullet that she probably got a free Waffle House apron with. Like, man, wrap this up, man. I'm glad it was only 3 minutes. This is one of those. It's time to get the Raisinets matches.
It wasn't the shortest match in the whole thing, though, Steve, which is surprising.
Yeah.
But Alundra Blaze, I mean, we can wrestle anytime. Honestly, I just reminded me seeing this. I'm surprised the King didn't mention it because when
This is
they had some really good camera angles in the '90s. You know what I'm saying?
This was pre-pervert King, I think.
Okay,
yeah,
he's still
exactly.
being royal. He's still very regal and royal.
He's got the one-liners, but he can't entertain the smut in
He's sitting
'94.
there just biting his fists like, oh, Vince is holding him back. Like, not yet. Not 5 years from now, you could say all this.
Yeah, man, they're saving the crap for the middle apparently because this next match is Men on a Mission with Oscar versus the Quebecers with Johnny Polo, aka Raven,
Dude, Johnny Polo, he should have kept that gimmick, Steve. I'm here to
over
say
the Raven.
over the Raven. I'll take
You
Johnny
tripping?
Polo all day.
You
No
trip,
way.
Dude,
bro?
he had a fly ass oversized suit. He had the hair pulled back. I'm into it. But what I'm not into, what's Men on a Mission? What's the rapper's name? Oscar?
Oscar, yeah.
Rough flow. They asked a lot of him. He's got to move a lot on the way down to the ring. He's a large guy. He gets a little out of breath, but just Oscar's he's not Jay-Z, but this is
No.
Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, dude, he's not even Cool Mo D. But this '94, this was kind of like hip hop was still like in its infant stages as far as being like a nationwide kind of deal. So all you had to say in '94 was some whoop, there it is, and people would just be like, oh, hey, some hip and hop.
Whoa, dipping
Yeah.
it.
Get some stuff to chant and to cheer and to dance to. That's all you really needed, right?
That's all you needed.
Whatever you can say to this, that's
Yeah.
it. But the look of Men on a Mission is just bizarre. I mean, Mabel, he's crazy just as a human being in general. He always just looks lunatic. Even if it's what was his other moniker? It was Mabel and Midian or something.
No, Viscera.
Viscera, that's what it was. But the other guy, it's just a crazy look.
Mo?
Yeah, it's all around. It's kind of like Wesley Snipes from Demolition Man, but out of shape.
Yeah. Addicted to ice cream bars, man. But all right, Peter Mabel, man. I don't want to, God bless the dead.
God bless, dude.
Yeah, man. And then with the Quebecers, it's basically just like, hey, we need another guy to wear the Mounties uniform, and just like they're a tag team now. That's basically what it was.
So as a kid, what I did was I bought two Mounties. I had two Mountie wrestling figures, and I said, "Look, I got the Quebecers now because they were like the same person, the same gimmick, man."
The same person, man. Like I did like in this match, Jacques and Pierre, they did like this assisted leap outside that was pretty dope. Like Pierre got some hang time. Like he ran into Jacques, Jacques lifted him up, and dude flew over the top rope. So shout out to that. Like that's my highlight for this match, man. But I can't fail to mention Todd Pettengill introduces Rhonda Shear. This is before the match. They're backstage and he's talking to Rhonda Shear. And then HBK, he comes in and throws a little riz, if you will. And then after that, Burt Reynolds and his hairpiece come in and, just Cox blocks HBK. How dare you?
Dude, when he looks at Shawn Michaels, he's like, get that chest hair out of her. Shawn's like, what's under there, buddy? I mean, this is fantastic. This is the kind of celebrity interaction I like. A nice, unhinged Burt Reynolds. He might have slapped Shawn Michaels. Burt Reynolds didn't fuck around, so
he did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure on Bruce Pritchard's podcast that he said that he was kind of a dick backstage. I guess he was a real dick to many of the other wrestlers.
He didn't look like he wanted to be there in the promo, except when Rhonda pulls up and he's like
jumping up and down.
I wish I could do something about being up all night with you, if you know what I'm saying.
And this was fresh off of his divorce with Lonnie Anderson, so Burt was out here in these streets.
And also shout out, because me and my wife looked up what Rhonda Shear looks like now at 70. She could still keep us all up all night. She's a beautiful woman. So shout out to Rhonda Shear.
Man, cheers. Man, usually Ron, when we do cover wrestling pay-per-views, I usually have some liquor and I'll take a shot for the dead, but I just got my water this time. So yeah, I'll take a sip for Rhonda, even though she's still with us. She deserves something. So this is for you, Rhonda.
I drank all my drink, but I've
I got water.
But yeah, Rhonda Shear. I mean, that's just side note. One of my first crushes, and one of those ladies that was just out there as a young kid. We were just like, that's it. That's what an angel looks like.
That was Pamela Anderson for me.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, that was Pamela Anderson was that for all of us.
Wasn't she in that following year's WrestleMania, if I'm not mistaken? I
What
think
year was
That was, yes, one of the worst WrestleManias of all time that I actually attended in Hartford, Connecticut.
that was in Hartford
Whoa!
Yeah,
with
it
Lawrence
was.
Taylor.
Yes, it was terrible. That event was terrible.
Damn, dude, Ron has seen it all,
He's
Steve.
seen it all, man.
It's a treasure trove.
No, you know what I really want? Ultimate goal is I want to get to the warehouse, the WWE warehouse that has all the old stuff and the old props and all that kind of stuff. That's my goal. When I get there, I'll be real happy.
Does someone not working for the company have access to that? Like, do they have like a Willy Wonka kind of pass? Like, can you like?
See, that's the thing. I don't know. I'm trying not to, he just did this real big favor for me recently at the main headquarters. So, I'll ease my way over there and we'll see. He has
Yeah,
been there. I did talk to him, so I know he has been there. So, maybe a video of that will be coming in the future. We'll see.
please, man. And the Quebecers, they ended up just leaving the match. Johnny Polo was just like, no, like we're not gonna lose the belt to Mo and Mabel. Like, so they just ended it on a DQ.
Got pussy to get. Let's get out of here. I'm Johnny Polo.
Shouldn't do that on a WrestleMania.
Out here. Yeah, I mean, nobody wanted it. And the Mountie, I thought this was something that lasted like a year. I didn't know it went this far. I didn't know the Mountie was that he had that legacy. But Jacques. What's the other guy's name?
And Pierre.
Salute, man. Salute to those fine Canadians.
Their finisher was good. That finishing move, the flipping move, was pretty cool, man. The way he just threw him over the top, the Quebecers. I like that.
Yeah.
Did they still have the electrode thing? The Mountie always had
time.
a cattle prod.
Yeah. I like they did the sound over the loudspeaker. He'd take it out and shock him. You hear it over the loudspeaker.
Hell yeah.
In this next match, Yokozuna. This is the first of the Yokozuna double, whatever you want to call it, with Mr. Fuji and Jim Cornette versus Lex Luger. Like, what's your take on Lex, man? Were you ever a fan of him, Ron?
So I was a fan of Lex, but during this time I didn't like the whole USA gimmick as much. I liked him when he came as the narcissist. For some reason, I liked that character. I thought it kind of fit him. But as far as the USA Lex, I remember even as a kid, like he's trying too hard. You know what I mean? Even as a kid, I saw through it. I was like, he's not Hulk Hogan,
And Vince was
but I
trying
was.
too hard. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, yes. Vince was, but I absolutely loved Yokozuna. I was, even to this day, I'm a fan of the big guys, the big tall wrestlers, the big heavy guys, and Yoko could move, so I loved
could.
Yoko. So I guarantee I was chanting for Yoko during this match.
I was like, good guys over here, bad guys over here, and I appreciate Yoko now. It took me my adult years to like realize this dude could actually move for like a 400, 500-pound man.
He's 500 pounds. I mean, the fact he's even getting into a ring and doing any of this stuff is crazy. But
yeah,
I respect him now as an adult because it's just like, how is he doing all this stuff? As a kid, not a Yokozuna fan at all.
Like I don't know about you guys, but you guys are around my age. You said you're around 40 or younger, whatever. So, dude, I sit down, play a video game. Getting up hurts, man. And you got Yoko running, doing leg drops, getting right up, all that stuff. Like, come on, man, it's kind of impressive, dude.
Yeah, you got to give it props, man. And great heel work, man. It just, that's one of those things, man. If you do it right, man, you could just take over. Like the foreign gimmick, it doesn't apply to all the wrestlers who use that, but with Yoko, he applied it perfect.
He was just a silent giant. He didn't have to do a bunch of acting or anything, and I think that's pretty cool.
But his selling was good. He sold good even when he fought the younger guys. He knew how to sell a move, acted like he was taking punishment, a pro wrestler. Lex Luger, not so much.
Lex Luger, and to me, that the whole American thing, that was just fake heat because they were like, this guy looks the part, but he has no way, he can't rock a mic at all. Like, there's no charisma behind all that muscle. Respect to the body, though. Like, that dude is muscled the fuck up. Like, he's definitely a beast, but I don't think he's anyone's favorite wrestler, to be honest.
Like I'm glad that he's finally getting his props as far as the induction this year, the Hall of Fame. I was never big on Lex myself. When he came to WWE, I think Vince was just really anxious to find a replacement for Hogan. And like you said, man, Lex is no Terry Bollea, unfortunately. But finally, Rhonda Shear, this is the time when she comes out. She comes out with Donnie Wahlberg.
Yokozuna, and he's looking crazy. The get up that they gave Donnie, the whole style of this, the Rico Suave pencil stash thing he's got, it's not working at all.
He's the bad boy, Matt.
Lex Luger, baby. It's just not cool at all. But Rhonda looking beautiful. She's the bell ringer. She can ring my bell. Mr. Perfect, he's the guest's referee, impartial, perfect, and he's if he's not on some roids in this, like he's looking fucking big as fuck. They're probably like, dude, you can't wrestle anybody right now, dude.
He's hulking out of that ref shirt, man. And, I was thinking about what you said about Brett, your encounter with him. I've heard the same thing about Luger, and like when he comes down. I don't know if you caught this, Matt, but when he like almost makes it to the ring, he like swats away a fan. Like, dude, you're in the public now. You can do that behind the scenes, and people cannot know because the internet doesn't exist. But like, you're doing it. Like, people saw that.
There's stories of him interacting with fans like that, outside of the camera, like, not wanting to be there. Yeah, that's like the worst thing you could do.
Yeah. Yeah, as the good guy, like, I mean, if Rick Rude comes out and slaps the fan's hand away, that's just hilarious and awesome. But Lex Luger, I don't know. I feel like
the American hero.
Yeah, he was like tied to Yokozuna because the thing I remember about Lex Luger in America is when he was like on like a fucking aircraft carrier and they did like that he finally lifted Yokozuna. That was like the big thing.
On 4th of July.
That was the best thing. That was the best thing that happened during his whole run as All-American Lex Luger. It all went downhill after that. The slam, that whole event was cool, and then it just went downhill.
After that, he was just in the background forever. Like, even in the NWO and stuff, it was just like, Lex is here.
Yeah, right.
Somebody get the mic out of his hand, though.
The Lex Express. Yeah, man. And I remember the bionic elbow that was supposed to be a part of his character when he was
the forearm.
The forearm. That's what it was.
The metal plate. You're right. Okay. So, and I think that's why I like the Narcissist, because he used that move. And they always talked about he'd take the sleeve off. Oh no, the exposed metal in his forearm. And then he'd do the running forearm. And I thought that was awesome, man. I think he did it as a face, but they didn't. He didn't talk about it like it was a heel tactic.
Yeah, like it was outlawed because he actually hits Yoko with the forearm and it knocks him out, but Perfect doesn't want to pin. He's looking after Mr. Fuji. He's looking after Cornette. Like, are you guys all right? And Luger's like, dude, where's my count? Where's my dude? What are you doing? And Perfect is like, I'm Kurt Hennig, man. You touching me? Man, rep this shit up.
I'm a ref, dude. You can't do that. Also, shout out to Jim Cornette in his absolutely insane, like, Michael Jackson outfit or whatever the fuck it is.
Sergeant Pepper.
He's in some kind of army of something, like Solid Gold Delight or something.
Now, you want to talk about a guy that I really appreciated in my, like, adult years is that person, man, because I hated Jim Cornette as a kid. Like all the heel managers, I hated Heenan, I hated Cornette, I hated like all those guys, Fuji. But man, Cornette, I follow his podcast and I listen to him, even if it's a clip or even the full podcast. Man, the guy is a wordsmith. He's effing hilarious, and he is an encyclopedia of all the stuff like that goes before my time. He's a purist.
He was easy to hate as a kid, for sure.
As a kid, yeah.
I didn't like Brother Love as a kid, and he's got a great podcast. He's a funny character. Is his name Jim Pritchard, I think?
Bruce Pritchard.
Bruce Pritchard. That's good. Yeah, he's funny too. Yeah, Jim Cornette, though, I don't know. He even has a Solid Gold racket.
Special occasion. Yeah.
I love that.
He looks like the band camp final boss, man.
Yeah, dude. What, the guy that like runs a circus.
The majorette or some shit. But
And
yeah, Luger, no dice, man. You know, because of the DQ, he goes home strapless.
yeah, and he's not happy. And they go backstage. Mr. Perfect goes back. He's just kind of pissed off that somebody had the gall to touch him.
How dare you?
I think Pettengill gets in his face. He's like, "We don't get what just happened. Why'd you do this? Why would you do this?" And Mr. Perfect's like, "Hey, man, like, I'm a ref. He can't touch a ref, okay? You don't do that in the WWF. That's not how we work." I love the camera, too, because as he's talking, we're seeing Lex coming back real hot that he's lost this match off some BS. And in perhaps the only time he's ever been believable on a mic, he gets back and starts getting in Mr. Perfect's face. Is like, "Yo, what's up?
Yeah.
What's going on here? What's the shenanigans about?"
He's roid raging, y'all. Stand back.
Yeah, like, guys, chill. He's got that look in his eye. But Mr. Perfect, to his credit, he's like, "Hey, man, I'm the ref, okay? Like, I didn't do anything wrong. You're in my face.
Yeah.
You need to take a couple steps back because this is official gear, okay?"
Not supposed to touch me, bud. And now we have Harvey Whippleman in the ring, and he's giving the Fink shit. They had this little mini storyline where Whippleman, he comes in there and he's talking shit to the Fink, and Fink just takes it. He's supposed to be just like this square announcer, like, oh, what? But like this time, Fink's had enough. He's with the shits this time. Man, what's that shit you said, Harvey? Man, fuck you. Fuck your couch.
I mean, Harvey Whippleman, why does he have any business talking shit to anybody? He looks like a child molester that has a job at like an office or some shit. He looks terrible.
He's definitely got the creep look going on. And I remember this back then. They kept this, from what I remember, this went on too long too. The Harvey Whippleman Fink thing. They were going back and forth on the superstars or whatever for a long time, and nobody really cared.
I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, whatever. I mean, he goes off on his toupee too, which I know Cy Sperling didn't appreciate, but you're right. Fink had had enough, you know.
She said he was ugly with the rug. Like, damn, bro.
So I think Whippleman is Atom Bomb's
Manager, yeah.
and this is a guy who I completely forgot about. I was like intrigued by this because I remember seeing this in WWF magazine. The look, guy,
He's got the look.
he's
Yeah.
got the look. I kind of like the gimmick too, just like this. He's a nuclear bomb. I mean, basically.
That's,
But
I like the name.
yeah, he's got the goggles.
Hey,
He's got the weird kind of Razor Ramon-ish wet, like curly hair that looks kind of cool as a wrestler. And he looks mean, but he comes out to just sort of get Whippleman's back, and then he shouldn't have because we're about to see the shortest match on this card, guys.
yeah.
This is one that I always forget about. I always forget about it. And I don't know if it's just because it was so short, but I always forget about this because it was just such a brief thing. Adam Bomb was awesome, but it was like he had the look, he had the gimmick, he had it, but he didn't have the mic talent. He didn't have the charisma. And he wasn't the greatest wrestler either. But you can overlook that if he could talk on the mic. But he never really got the chance to. But it's
I don't
probably
even
for a
remember him
reason.
talking. Like honestly,
Yeah.
I think I feel like he just shook a lot. Like he was always just like,
Well, the thing with guys like that, especially when they're heels, man, you just get a manager who can do all the talking, a la Paul Heyman or a Heenan.
Right.
You know, you just look scary. Just look big and scary, and you know, let the other guy do all the talking, man. But
well, you know, Adam Bomb comes out. He starts trying to physically intimidate the Fink, which I don't even feel like the Fink was even really that scared anyway. But then, you know, Earthquake's not feeling this. He's you know, I don't know if he's a good guy or not, but he comes running out all 300 and some pounds of his ass. And he just proceeds to just whoop the shit out of Adam Bomb in like 20 seconds and then sit on his face to win the match.
yeah,
And I mean, that's the worst. When you pull Earthquake as the opponent and he's going to do that final sit on your face thing where his taint is just a
just
millimeter away
like,
from lips.
yeah, it's
You
like
know?
right here.
Like,
You
dude, you
just
better
get
have
you,
a maxi
you
pad
get
on or some shit,
you,
big guy, because I do not want to have a nut sack fly into my fucking face. It's
I
crazy.
don't know. I'd rather be teabagged by Earthquake than Yokozuna, man.
Oh,
Sophie's Choice right there.
the cottage cheese waterfall. Fucking that shit is crazy. But Earthquake, he does his job. And Fink, like I said, I don't think anybody's intimidating him, to be honest with you. I feel like he could whoop anyone's ass. But
The Finkster, man.
shout out to Earthquake, man. Shout out to one of the ugliest. I mean, he's a great guy,
Yeah.
but he is one of the most gruesome wrestlers. I got to say, there was never a cool look. It's
I
always
mean,
that weird, wet, thin, long hair. It just looks crazy.
he's got what is it? The Eagle's Nest, the Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, like whatever you call it.
And then he's always looked like he's in his early 40s or
Yeah.
mid 40s, even when he was in his 20s. He's always looked the same.
It's saddening to know that we're all older than him in this match.
Yeah. Look at that young, spry Earthquake. I remember
He's a blue chipper. He's a blue chipper, that kid.
Right. Yeah. And backstage, Todd Pettengill, he's interviewing Jim Cornette, Yoko, and Fuji. And Cornette, he's just giving a master class, man. Not skipping a beat. He's just going on a tear, talking about Lex Luger and Bret Hart in the same breath, man. One of the GOATs, if you ask me.
I mean, he has to be. He's been around like Jesus Christ. He's basically the encyclopedia of all wrestling at this point.
He is.
And he's still relevant. I mean, I feel like he's one of the guys that people are like really, especially with like the internet and people like be kind of pulling the curtain back a little bit and talking about it. He's one of the ones that's like really cashing in on that. To be a guy who has embraced just walking out with a racquetball racket, and that's the thing. Like, I never even got that, but I mean, the guy's he's got style, he's got swag, and you know what? We could all be a little bit more like Jim Cornette, guys.
But if you think about it, that the gimmick, the racket, when you think tennis racket, you don't think of any other wrestler, right? You think of Cornette.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you just think of Cornette.
I actually don't even think of a tennis player. I think of Cornette anytime I see a tennis racket, just at all. Yeah, that guy's.
But this next match is the match, man. It's the grandfather of the ladder match, man. Shawn Michaels with Diesel versus Razor Ramon Chico.
The click is in town, Steve. I know there's the Hell in the Cell. There's matches that will never die. People will remember them forever. As just my personal taste, this is it's in the top 3 for sure, but it might be my favorite match of all time. It's that good.
Of all time. Where would you place this, Ron?
It was definitely cutting edge. It was cutting edge for its time, having such a different kind of match. As far as ladder matches and stuff, it's been so overdone now. It's hard to compare it to a lot of the modern stuff. But as far as storytelling and stuff, man, this is definitely top 5 ladder match, man. This is probably top 3. I mean, it was the innovator. It was one of the best ones. As a kid, I freaking loved it. And even rewatching as an adult, it's good stuff, man. Really good stuff. And they didn't have to take crazy, crazy bumps,
No, that's reserved for the Hardy Boys years later.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's 20 minutes basically, and it's just wall to wall. It's just good, like the whole time.
And HBK, like, he does a lot of great things in the ring, man, but like his selling of other people's moves can't be overlooked, man. Like, he can sell like no other.
I feel like Scott Hall also, you got to give him props in this match because they both, like, I was watching this. I'm an adult now. I'm 41 years old. I've seen this match many times, but there's a couple times where, like, Shawn Michaels hits, like, the Sweet Chin music on Razor Ramon, like, while he's running. When Razor Ramon hits Shawn Michaels with, like, a real, like, wild punch where he spits when he gets, like, to sell it, he like spits in the air, and I was sitting there like, oh damn, like they're actually whooping each other's ass. I mean, these are two guys that are really good at selling. And I think this is just a fun duo to watch wrestle each other,
And those details that you said, getting punched and the sweat and the spit flying out. And Michaels was always infamous for the gum flying out. He'd take a shot to the face and the gum would fly out. Yeah. Those little details as a kid, man, same thing. I was so impressed, man. Wow, they're really punching the hell out of each other.
I mean, it's so believable. And plus, like, just all the stuff they were doing with the ladder in general, just like whooping each other's ass with it, using it as a battering ram. the weird, like the very specific things that they had to pull off were like Razor Ramon pushes the ladder over and Sean lands like dick first on the ropes and stuff. Like you had to do that in a way where like the ladder had to be in the right spot. He had to hit it in a way like unless they were just freestyling that shit and magic happened on screen. I don't think that's how it was. So when Sean like gets up on the thing and like rides it down and just like belly drops on Razor Ramon
Oh
from the
yeah.
stuff, all that stuff is great.
Yeah. Like this was the #1 match of the year of '94 by the PWI and Dave Meltzer, as well as the many fans.
And there was one thing that I just think was just from as a fan like watching it that was really cool is like they had like golden lights on the belts. So when the guys got close to it looked like they were reaching out to like some sort of angel or something in the sky. It was just like lit in a really cool way.
You're right.
Honestly, that because I tried to like take a picture of it while I was watching it today and like send it to Steve. But for me, and I have, he's rest in peace, Scott Hall, but like this has to be Scott Hall of his career. The moment where he wins this and he's sitting up holding those belts in the air and just posing to the camera looking like a badass. This has to be like one of the top moments of Scott Hall's wrestling career, to be honest.
For sure, it has to be, man. I mean, either that or the whole NWO fiasco.
But this was him. Like this was just him.
Just him, yeah.
It was taking him to the next level for sure. It was definitely taking him to the next level where he was done. He grew out of the mid card, the upper mid card. We took him a little more seriously after this. And then the belts was also a very cool touch because I think this was at the time where was there two belts, two IC belts, right? Because one was vacated or something like that, or it
Yeah,
became some wishy-washy stuff. But it was cool because there was one fake belt, one real belt, and then you grabbed them both. Very cool stuff to see as a kid.
man. R.I.P. to the legend, man. Well, like one of the guys, they always say you don't meet your heroes, but like I would have taken that chance. I would have taken that chance with Scott Hall. If I saw him at the booth, like man, he could be a dick to me, but I can at least say I said hey to Scott Hall, and I don't think he would have been a dick. I think he would have been a cool dude. I like to think.
I hope so. I saw Scott Hall. That would have killed me as a child if I walked up there because I have thought Razor Ramon was cool instantly. I don't know why. I didn't even know like what Scarface was or anything. I was just like, this guy's cool. This guy's fucking cool as shit. So
everything he had oozing machismo, man.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the bad guy. Shout out Scott Hall. I just can't say enough. It just the one thing I don't like about this is that we don't get a Razor's Edge in the whole match. But I mean, just that final thing where he's just sitting up there, just basking in the glow. It's so good.
We got the main event, man, with Burt Reynolds' introduction and his hairpiece. He comes out with Jenny Garth. I don't know, they just kept her under wraps up until this point. And I guess Burt Reynolds had an issue with that. He was supposed to walk down with Rhonda Shear, but they chose Jenny Garth because I guess he was told or management told them to keep him away from Rhonda Shear, despite them having that backstage segment. But I guess Burt Reynolds says something like, "I'm not walking out with a 12-year-old."
What the fuck? He probably did something when he was he's probably said some crazy shit to Rhonda Shear. She's like, I am not going out there with that
guy. You saw his hand in a cast, man. Apparently he punched a guy who tried to mug him 2 days earlier in San Diego.
Dude, I'm telling you, I think even as an older guy, I think he beat a guy up at like a press junket when he was like doing a press for that football movie that Adam Sandler remade. Like, I literally think he jacked a dude. Like, he just did not give a shit. He was like Jack Nicholson. Those old celebrities, dude, they still were live wire guys where they're like, you're not going to fuck around. I'll fucking slap you silly.
You looking at, you think I'm sweet? Get over here, you little punk.
Is that fake?
Yeah.
Hilarious, dude. I just like Burt Reynolds is in the back just trying to get some sniz, just causing problems all over WrestleMania. I love it.
Can't be mad at it, man. Is Stroker Ace in the building, but he introduces Rowdy Piper as the guest referee, and his intros, Rowdy Piper always knew how to soak in that moment when he comes out and he feels the fans and he just stands there and it's like a majestic look and he's just like taking it all in.
Oh
And
yeah.
like I'm watching this on TV, like, he's the icon.
And this was rowdy. Look at Hollywood Piper, Steve. He's ready for LA. You
He's
know.
all out of bubblegum too.
Yeah, exactly. But I always love seeing Rowdy, unless he's got half of a black first. But other than that, love to see that. And he's, because these are two superstars, Steve. They got to have a ref that can stand. They can't do Mr. Perfect because he's out. He's pissed off at this point. He's been touched. He doesn't want the smoke anymore. So, you know what? Rowdy's here. And he's ready to go. I mean, he's not fucking. He's a really passionate ref in this. He's getting in there.
That's the thing about Roddy. You could use him in so many different roles because he can go on the mic, he can go with facial expressions, he can go in the ring, he could go with promos. He was so well versed.
Yeah, man. Another legend, dude. If I was doing my normal routine, man, I'd be drunk.
I'm so glad because Ron would have got off the show.
He'd never want to be on our show again, man.
The one thing I always miss, I'm really sad that I didn't get to do before he passed away, is when I did live in LA, he used to do, I mean, it wasn't stand-up comedy, but he would do like live shows at the Comedy Store, and he would just like tell the tales. I think he would just like open it up to Q&A and talk about wrestling and stuff, but I wish I would have gotten to see that because I was a huge Roddy Piper fan as a kid. He was always one of those cool guys. I mean, one of the coolest good guys,
For sure.
What the dude's at.
I thought, my name is Ronnie, and as a kid, I thought his name was Ronnie Piper. So as a kid, I loved him. I love Ronnie Piper.
People are like, who are you talking about? Dude, the guy with the kill. Oh, okay.
And Brett, he comes down, he's hobbling on one leg, man. So, he's selling that story.
Is this Pat Mahomes? Yeah, he's Owen fucked his leg up, Steve. He's been kicking at it, and this is tough. You're going up against 500 pounds with a busted leg. It's not a good idea. Shout out to also Yokozuna doing 2 matches in one night and being 500 pounds. I mean, he had to be in good shape.
Yeah.
Whatever that means for a 500-pound dude.
He had to be in good cardio shape to move around. Yeah. He was in something.
I wonder what his workout. Did he have what was the workout routine for Yokozuna? I wish we would have known that.
Picking up a drumstick one after another, man, real quick.
We got to work them biceps, man, and throwing down dominoes with the BSK.
There were stories on the Pritchard podcast that he was at like a wrestling barbecue event or something, and he kept eating turkey tails. Like, I guess you fry up turkey tails, and he ate about 30 of them and just dunked them in mayonnaise, just these fried turkey.
Oh my god, dude! Whoever had to clean up whatever toilet Yokozuna had to use after that, they killed him.
There's also the story that they sent him away to lose some weight. Kind of essentially like a fat camp kind of deal, and he got booted. I think it was him and Vader at the same time, and they got booted because they were sneaking fried chicken. They were sneaking KFC and stuff to the venue. So they ended up. Yokozuna came back weighing more than when he went into the weight loss center.
Dude, that's the sequel to Heavyweights.
What?
Remember that movie Heavyweights?
That was a great movie.
I love that movie. Damn, Vader just has fucking chicken wings under his titty and shit. Like
pizza slice out of his singlet.
KFC in here. What the fuck?
Damn, they had a no fried chicken clause.
Bam Bam sneaking it in. He's like, Luna's gonna go get us some fucking cake. What fat camp though? The counselors that there had to be terrified.
I actually think it was some kind of like Betty Ford weight loss center or something. It was a legit thing, man.
God bless those nurses. They're like, fucking Van Vader said he was gonna whip my ass. He just started punching the wall.
Give me a turkey sandwich.
The fucking big Japanese guys just eating mayonnaise by the handful. I don't know what to say.
Overall, I think this pay-per-view was good, despite it being like the company being in a downswing. And this main event, though, I kind of feel like the main event had a cheap ending because as we all know, Yokozuna, he goes for his banzai splash. He slips on the second rope, falls, and he just has his head like his hands over his head, like like the girl when you're trying to pull their pants down before y'all get it in, and she's just like, I hope it doesn't sting.
I was like, is he embarrassed? Like, it just seemed like he was like, I can't believe I did this. Yeah. I mean, even if Brett would have like kicked the rope, or it was just like he's a klutz. That's what happens when 500 pounds topples. It's over. They can't overcome that. But Brett had to get his moment, and also we get a nice little like celebration at the end too, Steve. All the stars came out to celebrate Brett.
Yeah, even Sparkplug Holly. Like I never. Hey, what are you doing here?
Herman.
You and the 1-2-3 Kid.
Lex is over there. He's like, I'm never gonna
Speaking of hardcore Sparkplug Holly, do you guys listen or read any wrestling books or any of the biographies by these? Do you ever do Audible or anything like that?
I've read the Brett book from beginning to end.
Mankind. I read Mick Foley's. I remember
Foley.
that, and there was another wrestling one that I read, but I can't remember it off the top. Maybe Bret Hart.
If you ever get into Audible, check out Hardcore Holly's book. It is a riot. It's hilarious, man. He just rips apart everybody. Every chapter, he's just dissing everyone. It was such an entertaining read, man. I wanted more. One of my favorite wrestling books. It was fun.
I'm gonna have to check that out, man. Like I get the feeling he's a very angry man.
He is, man, and he's very bitter. But some of the stories he tells are hilarious, and his perception of himself during this time is hilarious too, man. He's just such an egomaniac, but it's such a great listen.
Man, what's it called?
I forgot. It was a few years back. I don't recall what it was called. I don't recall, but it definitely is on Audible because that's where I listened to it. Maybe the hard truth or the hardcore truth or something. Something along those lines.
Definitely not a guy I would want to start a fight with, though. He does look like a legit tough guy, and that's the thing. Like, there was a time when I was around like a lot of Marvel fans who didn't really mess with wrestling at work, and we would always get into these debates. Oh man, it's fake. It was like, dude, some of these guys who do this fake fighting will beat the fuck out of Robert Downey Jr. Both of those, the Liam and Chris, the Hemsworths, all of them.
Did you show him Stossel getting slapped in the fucking face by that guy? I mean, that's what I feel like anybody, if you walked up to a wrestler and go like, you're fucking fake.
These guys, like, they are real, like, about that life, man. I kind of wish kayfabe was still a thing, man, because you always hear about those bar stories from the 80s when people would pick fights with these guys. They probably didn't know who they were.
Let me touch on that real quick, if you don't mind. So probably about 20 years ago, the Big Show was in WWE at the time. He was probably a heel or whatever. My buddy and I were like front row. So we're yelling the most obscene stuff to Big Show, right? I start yelling stuff about Big Boss Man and his dad. I don't know if you remember, he did some pretty terrible promo with the funeral. So we just start insulting, Let me tell you, man, he gave us this look, his eyes deep into our eyes, and started approaching towards us. Wrestling was not fake anymore, dude. We were like, probably almost 20 years old, man, pissing our pants. We stepped away from the railing. We took off, man. We were scared. And all he did was stare us down and start approaching us. And we were so scared. We took off, man. But
because his father really did pass away,
yeah,
right?
I believe so. But I know he knew we were just being silly about the Big Boss Man game.
About the Boss Man, because that shit is hilarious. That's one of the funniest moments in wrestling history, in my opinion. Your dad is dead now, boy.
Yeah, he made the poem, right? He made a poem for him, and then he jumped on the casket. Oh, dude.
I mean, that is great. Damn, dude, if Big Show walked up and you thought he was gonna whoop your, I would immediately evacuate my bowels.
We were both hitting each other. Said, yo, shut up, yo, he's coming to us, yo, and we just said, let's get the hell out of here.
Y'all were out of there before the match ended. Damn,
but Captain Insano almost whooped Ron's ass.
And then before the whole thing ends, Owen comes out, and Macho Man thinks he's coming out to celebrate with his brother. Owen just stands there like, man, what is this shit? I beat him. Fuck this shit. I'm going.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. I just thought it was a celebration. I didn't know Owen came out to just do a little raid on the parade, but I love that too. That just proves he's cool, you know?
Just staring everybody down like, okay, I remember this. Okay, okay. But yeah, man, where would you guys rank this WrestleMania?
Hmm. It's got one of the best matches. I'm not saying top 10, but it's got the best match in my opinion. So it's tough to not say it's good.
Yeah.
Right.
No?
So I for me, it's a very memorable WrestleMania, right? Very memorable, not necessarily very good. I mean, it did have the Hart and Owen. It had obviously the ladder match, which was awesome. But I think the angle with Bret Hart and Luger and Yoko and Owen, I think it all kept me interested enough as a kid. And as I said, it's super memorable and it stuck with me.
Yeah.
Aside from the earthquake and Adam Bomb and a couple stinkers like that. So I think overall it's a good show.
Dink and doink.
And I think it's way better than WrestleMania 11, like I said, because that was brutal, and I was there. So
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Man. Lawrence Taylor, man, he just shoulder tackled his way to victory on that one. I got that pay-per-view.
he did a good job. I thought LT did great.
Considering he's not schooled on
Right.
this.
I don't know, just in terms of like the overall, like if I go through each match, like the first match with the Hearts was great. The Bam Bam thing, that's a wash. I like Randy, I like Macho Man, but the Crush match, other than it being kind of funny at the end, that wasn't that great. Uh Alundra Blaze, that ass is great, but the match wasn't that great. And they're not great matches, but it's like Ron said, it's like very memorable. So it's hard not to say it's a good pay-per-view. It's a good WrestleMania, but it's just like the matches are not, you're not going home and like, dude, did you see the Men on a Mission fucking Quebecers match?
Must see TV.
Yeah.
Finally, in 1998, Wild Things premieres. And man, I didn't have time to watch this. Still to this day, I haven't watched it, man.
That's crazy. You've watched some of it though. You've watched some of it.
Probably some of it. Eventually, I will. Wild Things.
You need to watch it, Steve. You need to watch it. Ron, have you seen this movie?
I seen certain scenes of this movie.
So,
And I seen
the
those
right
scenes
part.
probably on more than one occasion as a kid. But no, I seen
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It was all right.
I mean, here's my thing. We talked about Basic Instinct, right? Erotic thriller. That's basically what this is. So, what you do get in this is a nice threesome, some titties. A lot of sexy stuff goes on in this movie. So, as a kid, all over that. But then when you pull it back, guys, there's like a weird, like, Steve, we talked about Palmetto, where it was like sexual intrigue and people were like backstabbing people and stuff. That's what this whole movie is. Because at first you think Matt Dillon's a teacher, the chicks are his students, and they say that he raped them. So he gets into a thing. Well, then there's a lawsuit. Then it turns out that he's working with the girls and trying to rip off the mom of one of the chicks. Then you find out something. There's a bunch of backstabbing. At the end, Nev Campbell poisons somebody and walks away with a bunch of money, and Bill Murray's in it. So that's weird. But I would say of like Cinemax porn, it's better than that. It's worth one watch. You're gonna laugh. And unfortunately, you have to see Kevin Bacon's naked dong. that you don't want to see that. Maybe fast forward. It's a 90s legendary movie. I lied to my mother to have her drive me and buy tickets to this movie so me and my buddy could see it and be little perverts. And it forever will be one of my favorites for that reason. I'm not. I watched it a little bit, but then I came and I just didn't want to finish it. So, you know,
Hey, that happened to me during the Alondra Blaze match.
yeah, exactly. And I taped this off of HBO or something off TV. It was on a videotape, and I remember that I had it to the exact scene. Like you didn't have to fast forward it. It was stopped right on that scene and in a place where only Matt knew where it was. So thankfully the parents never popped in that tape, and it had, Steve, you'd be interested in this. It was one of the pay-per-views, WCW pay-per-views that I got. I taped that and I just right in the middle of it put this delicious scene from Wild Thing. So I
You were
think
crafty with it.
it was like Starcade on the thing, but right in that middle, no Starcade, a lot of titties, a lot of fun
Are you
stuff.
guys
Some
familiar with
titty
the
nibble.
Spice Channel from the 90s?
Oh yeah. I
Oh yeah.
didn't have it,
Okay, so
but
you
I
know
wanted.
we had the black scrambler boxes too, right? Where you can get. So I
The
used to
black
I
box.
used to
Yep.
have WrestleMania parties, right? Since I was like probably 8 years old to like 13, right? We'd watch WrestleMania, and when the adults were in the other room, we put on the Spice Channel. 9, 10 years old, we're only watching it. You know, they come back to wrestling. You know.
Oh, yeah, you have to have that previous channel button
Oh,
ready
that
to go.
thing was weird out, man.
Me and my
They-
buddy got caught by his dad watching Skinamax. His dad was hiding in the like hallway in the room, like, and we're all sitting there like, "Oh my god!" We hear his dad go, "What do you guys watch?" Like,
You hit that last, but oh man, salute your shorts, man. That's man, button it crazy, man. Man, that Camp Anawana, man, they wild, man.
why are you breathing so? Why are you shaking?
Man, Ren and Stimpy, man, they crazy, right? Am I right, guys? Man, yeah, man. But Ron, man, please tell the people, man, where they can catch you at.
Yeah, well, so right now, man, I'm still just having a lot of fun. There may be more stuff going on in the future, but right now it's TikTok mainly. I'm on IG as well and YouTube, but mainly TikTok right now at Wrestling with Ronzilla. I put almost daily content. Wrestling figures, cards. I do skits. I do bios. I do unique, wrestling video games, old school, new school, anything. There's no other wrestling channel out there like me. On TikTok, that's for sure. So Wrestling with Ronzilla on TikTok.
There it is, man. Like Wrestling with Ronzilla. And I think any wrestling fan should check it out. He's a one-man show, like Joey Styles, man.
Oh my God,
But
Ronzilla!
special thank you to Ronzilla, man. Thank
Yeah.
you for having us. Thank you for being on our show, man. We love to have you back. But please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please tell your sister the Humpty Dance is your chance to do the hump. Oh, do me, baby.
Happened in the 90s.
Matt was the fat kid, Steve was the black kid. Life wasn't always great, but you know what was? The 90s. Happened in the 90s. Yeah!